6 years ago, Nu Skin made an enormous leap forward in anti-aging research when we entered into a collaboration with LifeGen Technologies. Now, at the time, we've always been committed to innovation, really, but we saw this as an investment into our innovation for decades in the future. Now, when Joe Chang, our Chief Scientific Officer, approached LifeGen Technologies, we were basically interested in their unique approach to understanding aging at the gene expression level. And one of the most attractive assets of LifeGen Technologies was their gene database. This gene database really provided a way to interpret the language of aging gene expression, which quite frankly was a language that no one understood at the time. Now, this database contained millions and millions of gene expression data points. And those data points, they really mapped the gene expression pattern differences between youthful gene expression, typical, or we might even say accelerated aging gene expression, or healthy gene or healthy aging gene expression. But despite the fact that we had millions and millions of data points based on those different gene expression patterns, we knew that it really wouldn't be enough. We knew that it was going to take many additional years and many millions more of these data points before we could leverage this database to formulate the products that Joe Chang had dreamed about. Now, one of the greatest discoveries that we had made during those years was an understanding of something that we refer to as aging defense mechanisms. This is something that's found in every cell of the body, and they work to bring about youth preservation. But I want to kind of set up the rest of the presentation by defining a few terms. The first term you're going to be completely familiar with. You've all heard of lifespan before. Lifespan is how long you live. You're born, you live, and then your life comes to an end. The next term you might be just a little bit less familiar with. This term is youth span. Youth span is the period of your life in which you're living youthfully. The years that you can be active, energetic, and healthy. You can probably imagine that most people's youth span is shorter than their lifespan. And at Nu Skin, our passion has always been about researching and investigating ways that we can actually promote your youth span. So let's come back to what I was explaining about the LifeGen database. Now, we really saw a way that we could use these millions of data points to select an ingredient blend that could positively modulate gene expression related to youth preservation. In other words, to promote your youth span. And during the years, these 5 years that we were collecting these millions and millions of additional data points related specifically to ingredients, we were refining our understanding of the aging process, and we learned that aging, that our bodies are really designed to live young. And so these 5 years have really been a quest to understand youth preservation. And we've taken all the learnings of these 5 years and we've infused them into this one product. Now, our research has really kind of focused on gene expression that could promote your body's innate ability to resist aging. And one of the most exciting discoveries, as I mentioned, was an understanding of cell mechanisms, which we call aging defense mechanisms. These are mechanisms that are found in every cell of the body, and they work to resist aging at the cellular level. Well, I want to make it clear that aging defense mechanisms are not genes, nor are they groups of genes, but they are represented by vast gene expression pathways, and they are controlled by gene expression. Now, it took Nu Skin and LifeGen scientists more than 5 years to collect and analyze this data. That's way too many details to explain in this brief presentation. But the thing that I want you to understand is that these mechanisms exist in every cell of the body. And I've really represented them here just with these 6 different colors. So you don't need to worry about memorizing the 6 different categories, but I do want you to focus on the fact that there are 6 different categories, and all 6 different categories are functional in every cell throughout the body to support this concept of youth preservation. So the question becomes, how do these 6 different categories of aging defense mechanisms function to bring about youth preservation? And those of you who are familiar with the Ageloc story know very well that every cell function is governed by gene expression. So gene expression gives the individualized instructions to our body's trillions of cells, regardless of what tissue or organ they're in. It gives that individualized instructions. So when you have this individualized instructions guiding these aging defense mechanisms, they bring about these youth preservation benefits. For example, let's say that you observe some changes, some visual changes in your skin as you age. Well, those changes have their origins in gene expression. Well, 5 years ago, we began to understand these gene expression patterns. But during the last 5 years, our focus has really been on the mechanisms that are controlled by this youthful gene expression. And not only did we discover that these different mechanisms exist, but we began to learn that they work together as a network, that they're relying on one another and they're working together synergistically. Now, together, these different mechanisms, they comprise your body's ability to resist aging. All sorts of aging aggressors from internal and from external sources. But the whole idea to combat isn't just to support any one of these aging defense mechanisms, but you really want to target multiple aging defense mechanisms simultaneously. Of course, unfortunately, with time, there's changes in our gene expression. And those changes in gene expression, they accompany some of the decline of the function and efficiency of these aging defense mechanisms. And so as our aging defense mechanisms become impaired, that leaves our bodies vulnerable to these aging aggressors. Well, it was our quest between Nu Skin and LifeGen scientists to identify blends of botanicals and nutritional ingredients that could actually promote healthy gene expression related to these aging defense mechanisms so that you could enjoy youth preservation throughout your life. Now, the whole point is that when you support these aging defense mechanisms throughout your body, you get youth preservation throughout your body. And this is important no matter your age. So we could be talking about someone in their late teens, 18 years old. It's important to support these aging defense mechanisms. Doesn't matter what your diet is, whether you have a good diet or a poor diet, you need to support these aging defense mechanisms. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this is working in the body. We'll take as an example in the brain. We would have all 6 of these different aging defense mechanisms that are functional in the brain to promote youth preservation benefits in the brain. And in the brain, those youth preservation benefits are going to be youthful cognition and memory. You're going to have, it's going to promote a sense of well-being and healthy mood. Now, these exact same aging defense mechanisms are also going to be working in the cardiovascular system. But here, the youth preservation benefits that they bring about are different than they are in the brain. The brain doesn't necessarily have, youthful cognition, but we do want to promote blood vessel integrity and elasticity. We want to promote healthy blood circulation, and we want to promote healthy blood pressure. The whole point is that when you're supporting these aging defense mechanisms throughout the body, you're going to support whole body youth preservation. And so you're going to have youth preservation in the brain, in the heart, in the immune system. You're going to notice that your metabolism is more efficient at regulating blood glucose and lipids. You're going to notice improvements in your joints and in your bones. You'll see improvements in your skin. Your body is going to handle stress more efficiently. So when you're targeting these aging defense mechanisms everywhere, you're going to get whole body youth preservation benefits. I'd like to take a little bit of time talking about some specific examples of how these aging defense mechanisms are working. And this is probably one that our distributors are most familiar with. I think that our distributors have learned so well the importance of dietary antioxidants. At times they may have assumed that protecting our bodies against free radicals is all there is to anti-aging. But really, aging is much more complex than just protecting yourself against free radicals. You're already familiar with the fact that dietary antioxidants can protect the multiple systems in the body from free radicals. And LDL particles in the bloodstream is one very good example. Now, LDL particles are the cholesterol that sometimes you hear as being the bad cholesterol. But there's certain dietary antioxidants such as lycopene that can stop LDL cholesterol from ever becoming bad in the first place by stopping them from becoming sticky. So these exogenous antioxidant defense mechanisms are very important, and they're one that I suspect that you're familiar with. One that's perhaps a little less familiar with you is antioxidant defense mechanisms that really come from the inside. This is a mechanism, it's almost like switching on the light switch inside your cells to produce your body's own antioxidants. So you're creating protection from within. Now, while this is less understood, or perhaps less understood by the lay individuals, it's a very important aspect of antioxidant defense. The next category I want to talk about are the detoxification and stress mechanisms that we have. We have several of them. An example is that when we get stressed, did you know that your blood vessels actually constrict? And this limits blood flow throughout the body. And so you want to have good aging defense mechanisms to counterbalance this effect of stress so that you can enjoy being youthful longer. So very important to create the balance in the body. DNA protection and repair. You'll remember that I said that these aging defense mechanisms work together as a network, right? So they're relying on, they're interacting with each other. And I think this is a good example because we've already talked about the two different antioxidant defense systems that we have. We have the dietary, the exogenous, and then the intrinsic, the antioxidants that are being produced inside of our bodies. Well, no antioxidant system is 100% effective. And so occasionally, something such as DNA might sustain a free radical hit, and then it could cause a break in the strand. And so fortunately, we have DNA repair enzymes that can literally go in and repair that DNA, that break in the DNA strand. Unfortunately, these mechanisms decline as we age, and so it's really important to support this particular aging defense mechanism throughout our lives.